Hello, and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Mansky, and I'm here today with
Justin the Clue
and Colin Cunningham. This is like what, week 85 of quarantine?
Yes.
Well, at least technically Canada is doing a little bit better, it seems, before it gets really bad again, I feel.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit of housekeeping up front again. Our listener request episode is pushed once again to next week, which was actually coming out in 2 weeks, because we needed to wait for the DVD to arrive once more. But it has arrived, so we apologize to the person that requested it. It just didn't arrive before we got a chance to record this week's episode.
It arrived at 8:30 this morning.
That's true.
As we were sleeping.
8:30? Was it like, there's a package here for you. We've had it for 90 years.
Yeah,
We've been
like
taking
the doorbell,
bets if somebody would take it.
The doorbell rang, and I was like, I just woke up and then just like went to the front door in my shorts, and they'd kind of like toss it in the bush, which is not...
They tossed it in the bush?
Well, it's kind of
Maybe
like
it's like a cursed object. They're like, get it out of here.
It could be.
I think they were trying to keep it out of sight, but they kind of toss it in the bush, which is not very close to the door. So I had to like walk outside all
and
groggy.
Colin sleeps in the nude, so it was like a Yeti walking outside.
Yeah. Oh my God, this movie. So this was your choice, Justin.
Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which
Please
I don't think
explain.
I've seen in like 10 years. The last time I watched it was with a friend, which is funny because when I was a kid, like I was all into Mortal Kombat as a kid who actually did not have any of the games and only really saw the first movie. But man, I love that theme song from the first movie.
Well, we all love that theme song. Is like the best thing. But
didn't.
I played the games as a kid, although I didn't own them, and so I played the first one and the second one on Super Nintendo and at the arcade sometimes.
Yeah, I kind of got into them in college. I kind of missed the whole console generation, like the Nintendo and the Sega Genesis.
Wait, how did you miss the whole console generation?
Well, I was in the first console generation, the Atari 2600, ColecoVision, and television.
Yeah, like a cans with like a string between them.
Pong? Did you
Look
play
at me,
Pong?
I'm Pac-Man. And then, I actually did play Pong.
Oh, okay.
Anything that had like fake wood paneling on it, that was my console.
Oh, yeah, that's how you know it's good.
And so when I went to college, I was living with four guys, I think, four roommates. And so they had a Sega Genesis, and they were really into Mortal Kombat. So I started playing it there. And then we'd go out to the arcade. There was an arcade around the corner, and we'd play it. So we kind of got into it, but I was never good at it.
I thought you were going to say, like, I was going to beat up the kids and steal their arcade money.
But, and I was never good at fighting games. I'm just like a button masher, because I can't...
Oh, me too.
Who can remember all those combos? They're so complicated.
Yeah, I was a bit of a masher, but I really enjoyed Mortal Kombat. But when I tried other fighting games later, like Soul Calibur, I just found it frustrating because I was like hurting my hands just mashing things. And although I love Super Smash Brothers, which is much more simple button combos. It's not like 15 buttons. It's just like
it's just
B
insane.
over, B up, B down. I can handle that. But,
well, I think the issue with Mortal Kombat for me when I was a kid is that if you knew somebody who was really good at it, it was just them beating you up, and that's not fun to play.
It isn't
the
fun.
thing about Super Smash Brothers is it's like a big level. You often play with like 3, 4, 5 people, so it's much more varied in the way that it plays out.
I gotta try that out.
It's not just one-on-one.
The best thing was like all my roommates were really, really good, so they knew all the combos. And I hated playing with them. So anytime I did play with them, and I would just button mash, and I would just find one move that worked, and I just repeat it over and over and over again.
The uppercut usually?
Yeah, usually. And then
or Scorpions, come here! I can do that one.
So I'd just repeat the same move over and over again, and if I beat them, they would get so angry.
Oh, they get so mad. Wouldn't they be like, you're not playing correctly?
Yeah, I remember one guy threw, it wasn't when I was playing, but one guy ended up tossing the Sega Genesis into the wall.
Well,
the whole thing.
Really loved Mortal Kombat is because it had cool characters, and it was also violent. This like really low res blood flying all over the place when you punch somebody.
I think that was cut out of the Nintendo, right?
It was in, I think you could toggle it on and off because I played Nintendo versions of it and it was there. But I've also played other versions where it wasn't. It's confusing because I would either rent it or I would play it at other people's houses. So I can't remember what console was on when.
I think it was a huge bomb, though, on the Nintendo because everybody was buying the Sega Genesis because it had blood. And Nintendo wouldn't allow violence or something.
Well, I think the game was really big when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, wasn't it? Because that's the one that I remember the most.
Like, did the first one have fatalities and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did.
But, I could never do fatalities, no matter how hard I tried.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I think I had to, because there's no really internet back then. I think you had to consult the manual on what the button combos were.
No, you get the gamer magazines.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I'm going to put my Game Genie in there and then I'll just hit one button and it'll do it.
It's 25 button. And then you get that one shot to do it on the fatality and you fuck it up and you're like, son of a bitch.
But yeah, speaking of Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the sequel, has a lot of the characters from the second one. The first one had a few from the second, but it was mostly the core characters were from the first game, and then they brought in all the ones from the second one into
everyone's favorite character, Noob Saibot.
So wait, were you guys a fan of the first movie?
Yeah, we've talked about it before, but I actually think it's a successful, good bad movie to the point where I don't even really think it's bad. Yes, it's cheesy. It has some bad special effects, but overall,
all bad.
That might be one of my. It's the bad movie that I would go to bat for. It's
I
entertaining.
longed for the special effects of the first one watching Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah,
Goro,
I longed for...
the big Tom Woodruff Jr. creation.
He was great. He was so
good. Instead, we have Shiva, who is the most poorly rendered CG creature that you can actually see the cloth is
clipping
on her arms.
Yeah,
there's a few of that.
So many effects in this one. I'm going to say this sort of gets tossed around a lot, but I will say definitively that this is bar none, no competition, the worst CGI I've ever seen in a theatrical film.
Well, there's so much of it too. It's just endless CGI.
All of it is terrible.
And there are some practical effects, but I think the issue is they had a script that was all in these exotic locations and doing all these crazy things. And
wait, all these exotic locations? Don't you mean a rock quarry somewhere?
Yeah. Rock quarry, a ruin.
A set, another set,
but
another styrofoam
they
set.
Couldn't just... every scene literally had to have an effect in it. And they did their best with the practical stuff, which looked okay, but all of the CGI generally... It looks just horrendous.
Yeah, this was that kind of no man's land and kind of this was 97, so it was the 90s and everybody was hopping on the CGI train, but it wasn't good for everything. But it didn't stop producers and directors from trying to use it for everything.
What I love about this movie, though, is that it starts right where the last one ended.
Right off the bat.
And that never happens.
No, and we get right into it. The New Line logo. It's Mortal Kombat.
Yes!
Gets you pumped up with that
amazing. And then it starts.
Song.
You have all your favorite actors, Robin Shou and... Wait a minute, who are these other people?
They got Katana back.
It's Alyssa Soto.
That's it. So Johnny Cage is not the same Johnny Cage.
Oh, no, he's just some nobody. His name is Chris Conrad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, apparently the original guy read the script and was like, nope. So they kill Johnny Cage off in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
I remember being a kid and hearing that and being like, no way, that Johnny Cage is the coolest. How could they do that?
Yeah, it's a big way to really piss off your audience if they were a Johnny Cage fan, which I was. I like Johnny Cage.
Listen, we'll make it up for you. We have 30 reptiles and scorpions that are going to be running around here.
We got centaurs, we have dragons.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Shivas.
Just nameless monsters.
We got Ray Parks running around.
Oh, no, they have names. I looked it up online to find out what their names are.
Well, what's that big, horrible CGI creature?
Oh, I don't know what that is. That's just shitty McCGI.
Yeah,
he was in the first one, too, but now he's big.
What, really?
No, the first one had a reptile.
Oh, yeah, the first one was reptile. He would turn into statues.
And that was a that was a character.
Yeah, that was
as a
Reptile.
fighter, but he doesn't return in this.
I think he is because in the credits, Ray Park is credited as Reptile.
Oh, they're
So I
They
think
look so similar, though.
I know.
It's impossible to tell them apart. Who is the red guy? I couldn't find his name.
Oh, that is.
there was a red guy with like a Sub-Zero mask.
There was
Yeah,
a red.
there
There was a
was.
red ninja, and that is Ermac.
There was a purple one,
remember
too,
that
that gets,
one.
like, thrown in a pit, like in an Austin Powers movie. And he's like, ah! And, like, flames shoot up.
I vaguely remember a purple guy, but I don't know.
Oh, is Emac... Is that the guy that, like... A lot of these characters are seemingly, like, glitches in the games. And that, like, players jumped on it. And we're like, oh, yeah, I love this guy. And it's just because, like, the wrong color of the suit kind of popped up when it was finally, like, exported.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Because, yeah, I couldn't tell anybody apart, and it's just so confusing. And I was trying to remember, I didn't take notes when I was watching it, so I was trying to piece everything together today, like just so I could have a guide of what happens, like sequentially. And everything just washed over me last night, and I could not remember anything that
It goes
happened.
by fast. Too.
Well,
It's
I
like,
mean,
what?
it opens and we're introduced to Shao Khan, the big evil villain who, at the end of the first one, appears giant. And you're
Oh,
like,
he's in the sky.
yeah, how's this going to happen? Nah, he's just a normal Brian Thompson that appears in
Yeah,
this film
and he looks
wearing a
different.
Halloween mask.
It looks like the costumes, it looks like, when they do the game, basically they're filming actors in kind of cheap looking costumes. They kind of scaled them down to video game size, and it doesn't really matter because they look pixelated. But it looks like they just used the costumes that they shot.
Yeah,
the
They
they're
game
shot
with.
the video game with, yeah.
And
What
didn't do
difference
anything.
does it make?
Yeah, it looks like they're, extras on stage in like a Guar concert or
It's
something.
kind of
like
true. Like, no need to make it cooler for the movie, guys. Just make it look exactly like it did in the game.
You know what? I'm usually a fan of that I'm like, if you're just going to bring it, to the movies from the game, don't try to like X-Men it up or anything like that and have them all wear like boring black suits.
Yeah.
Just do the original stuff. I just ask for a little of, I don't know, comprehensibility when I watch these movies.
Yeah.
Because this film is like, I have no idea what's going on.
And there's so much lore
Yeah, they
and
add
plot
a
and
bunch of mystical
twists,
stuff.
and he's related to this person. And
There's
it's
like,
just oh my God.
elemental gods.
Yeah, I was so out of my league watching this. I don't know any of the characters.
Oh, me neither. And they're never even named. Like, I'd be like leaning forward, being like, all right, say their name so I can look it up.
I think they do like once. Yeah. I'm going to get right into what I liked about this movie, which is I like the characters just because I did. Well, back we were saying about the outfits, like they look exactly like they do in the game. So I was like, hey, that's that person. That's that person. It was like Ready Player One kind of.
Who's your favorite, April? Like when they showed up, you were like, yes, you jumped to your feet, clapping your hands.
I audibly, made a sound
Gasp.
when Katana whipped out the fans, because I don't think she
Oh,
does
yeah.
that in the first movie, and that's her thing. She
I
has
can't
metal
remember.
fans, and it's really cool.
Oh man, before they turn into fans, they look like the cheapest
Yeah.
plastic things. She's like beating people with.
Yeah, I was like, what are those weird, like, misshapen metal sticks? Inanimate carbon rods.
My favorite was, I don't know his name, but Centaur Man.
Oh, Centaur Man is so
I
good.
don't remember a centaur man in the
I don't.
game. But
Do you think they're like, we need, you know what? Audience testing has proved people love Scorpion. They love horses. What if we put them together?
Yes, Scorpion.
yeah, and he had like goat horns.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
so funny. Yeah, and then he's got goat horns and then a cod piece. So is his dick
He's got two
on his
dicks.
front? Is
that
it two dicks?
Jax keeps like punching it as well. He knows where
Yeah.
the goods
He
are.
punches him right in the bag, and it's like this flabby bag thing where
That's where his children are.
it's where the human part of him would be, his dick would be. But I don't know. It's very strange. But anyway,
So the
let's
movie
get to the
starts,
plot.
Let's get into it. Where Shao Kahn shows up and he's like, I don't know, some prophecy or something like that. I'm gonna come and kill you. And Raiden, played by my favorite Christopher
No.
James Remar in this movie,
Oh man, I was missing Lambert so much in this movie.
is like, yes, we are the elder gods and we must blah blah blah. Who cares about any of that stuff? None of it matters. I wish I could enjoy it like a Jack Kirby New Gods kind of stuff, but there's like so little commitment behind any of the creative team. This was directed by John R. Leonetti, who was a cinematographer on the first one. He's mostly known as a cinematographer and a real terrible director. He keeps directing movies, and they're so bad, and he gets them because he works on a cinematographer on a project, and then it gets the producers who are like, we like this guy. He seems to know what he's doing. Let's give him Annabelle, for example.
Oh, okay,
Because he shot the Insidious movies.
He's done 5 movies with James Wan as DOP.
And they look great.
And he directed Butterfly Effect 2. So I'm assuming he was DOP on the first one?
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of the
probably.
first one, though.
That's funny. And Wish Upon. If you've never seen Wish Upon, oh my God,
Wish Upon
it's so
is
funny.
very funny.
Like, at what point as a director do people go like, oh man, this guy is not good? Or maybe he can just deliver things on time and on budget. He was the cinematographer of this movie. I mean, it looks cheap. It looks like it was shot mostly in a studio.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's like some weird big sets that they're running around on.
They've obviously got some money. I mean, it's like a $30 million budget, which is, I think, almost twice what the original was. I mean, the original was probably like 16, 17. And somehow
so
the CGI looks so much worse.
And like the first one was a big hit, and we should say right now, this one was a pretty solid hit. It opened #1 at the box office. I think globally it made $53 million. So it wasn't like a massive smash like the first one, but it wasn't embarrassing either.
I think
It could've
everybody
been a
went to
third
see
one.
it in the opening weekend, and that's about it.
So
the
we
first
start the
drop
movie
off.
the way that all the Mortal Kombat fans want it to start. The heroes break up and jump in a bunch of hamster balls.
Yeah, this thing. Oh my! First of all, the sky replacement in the opening scene where Shao Khan appears.
So bad.
So it's that famous place in Thailand. I forget the sort of. Oh God, there's like these like kind of temple buildings.
Temple.
Speaking of Thailand, Tony Jaa is a stunt double in this movie.
Yeah, for Robin
Hey.
Shou.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's cool.
But the sky replacement in this scene is so terrible, and
It's so bad.
every single shot, and you can tell they shot it outside in bright daylight, and then they had to turn the sky dark and stormy. But so all the characters, all the people, all the environments are lit like it's bright sunny daylight. Meanwhile, the sky is really dark, and it just doesn't work at all. It's so terrible.
And so they fight a bunch of characters in that scene. We'll get to them as we go along because they keep popping up. They will not stop coming. And it's not even like, oh, that's a lot of characters at the beginning, because more just keep showing up. I kind of missed what they said. They go in the underground tunnels and they say, what is it called? The Outer World or the Odd World?
Outworld.
Outworld.
So that's
Abe's
where Shao
Odyssey.
Khan comes from.
Yeah, they're morphing together with all the landmarks of Earth, I guess. Only the landmarks.
Yeah, so he's opened a portal between the Earth realm, it's called, and Outworld.
Yes.
Yeah, eventually they'll merge together, so they're going to have to stop him. And then they kind of split up, I guess.
It's so unclear. The geography of this movie is crazy because,
Yeah.
like, you're like, wait, are they just close to each other, or are they all in this big desert?
Because they
like
just
I said,
happened to meet up at one point.
Yeah.
They like jump in these hamster balls. April, is this a video game thing? Why is this here?
I don't recall any hamster balls from the
Because
video
like it's
game.
only in this scene, and it never comes up again.
Yeah, it's very strange, but it's all done practically, which is really impressive.
Not all done practically.
There's a few
There's some
shots.
close-ups of Robin Shou with the most low-res rendering of a background I have ever seen in a theatrical released film.
Yeah, those are. I could swear, and I would like bet money on it, but I could swear that some of the shots in this film switched to like video res.
I think so. Like maybe they finished it on video.
No, it's just certain shots, and they'll have like an element or something in the background that's really pixelated and chunky, and then I could swear there were shots of something exploding where I could see like interlacing. Like,
Did you guys notice that, like, in the opening fight, there's the same shot of Shao Kahn being hit to the ground? I
is there
actually
really?
went back and I was like, did they repeat the same shot twice?
saving money?
I'm not
Boy,
surprised.
we only had to print one take. We're editing digitally, probably on big laser discs or something like that.
And they reused some footage from the first movie, of course. There's flashbacks.
Oh, yeah.
All the monks.
when that footage showed up, I was like, it looks so good.
Yeah, compared to this,
I
never thought I'd be longing for Paul W.S. Anderson to be at the helm of the movie.
The guy who played Shang Tsung is like
Yeah, Karen
10
Tagawa.
million times better than Shao Kahn.
Oh,
This guy
Brian
doesn't
Thompson, though, the villain from Cobra.
Yep.
Kill me, Cobra. You don't got the guts.
He doesn't look like a Shao Khan.
He's got a very distinct look, Brian Thompson. You've seen him. He's on X-Files, and he's been in a million
I just
things.
don't think this was the right role for him.
What's so weird is that, like, he's supposed to be the ultimate, like, best villain in the world, and he's like, I want to make you happy, Daddy. Don't hurt me, please.
Yeah, this is the weirdest thing. So every time they cut back to him, he's got this older guy who actually found his name.
Yeah, doesn't look awesome, though. No skull mask or anything.
No, he just looks normal.
His name is Shinnok.
Shinnok? Okay.
He used to be an elder god, and then it's revealed that he's the father of Shao Kahn and Raiden.
Yeah.
And now he's helping Shao Kahn with this, like, Earth invasion or something like that. But he's this... Why is he here? He doesn't need to be here. He adds
don't
nothing to the
understand.
movie. He's just one more confusing character in this movie.
There's a lot of characters.
There's so many characters, and we haven't even started getting into the characters yet.
So one of the craziest things about this movie is that the characters that people love, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, are basically not in it.
Yeah.
They're in one scene, a very,
one
very
scene.
short scene. Although that scene...
Is maybe the best scene of the movie.
yeah,
pretty
I
long
was
fight,
gonna
actually.
say, like, it's a pretty good fight, and they do like a homage to the game where Sub-Zero makes a bridge out of ice, and then they're fighting on it, and then it starts breaking, and then they fall to like the lower level, which is something that would happen in the
Oh,
Okay,
is that
yeah.
something part of the game? Because in the movie
Yeah.
it made no sense. I'm like, what is going on?
It was a reference.
Yeah, okay. So they fall to a lower kind of ledge. Or on
Yeah,
this,
and
like, sort of
sometimes the
bridge.
lower level will have like spikes down there.
okay, okay.
or, something like that.
Well, that's cool. Even though in the movie I was like, why did they go back up?
Well, what makes no sense is that there's two Sub-Zeros now, and he's just like, that was my brother. Bye.
Oh, yeah, but you
Yeah.
never see him again. So it's like, why are you
Why
here
was
then?
he even here? Yeah, so, yeah. Liu Kang
something
is
got
like, I
cut
killed
out.
you in the first movie. And he's like, no, that was my brother. It's like, okay.
So it looks like that they had like good choreography in this movie.
Yeah.
JJ Perry, who's like one of the best stunt choreographers, like fight coordinators, who he did like the John Wick movies and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
He plays multiple roles in this movie.
Right.
And Robin Shou is like a down and dirty Hong Kong stuntman.
Right.
Like he worked on like the worst kind of productions. And they just don't know how to shoot and edit it. Like they keep like
that's the
cutting
only
the
thing.
close-ups and slow motion to like rob any impact.
Yeah, but I think the fighting itself like is really well done. Like it's
it's
well
solid.
choreographed. It's like entertaining, way better than it should be for a movie like this.
And everybody
Oh, yeah.
except James Raymar has good stunt doubles that look like them, or they're doing
Are you
most
talking about
of their
that
own
shot where
stunts.
it's like James Remar is like fighting in the shadows near the end of the movie, and you're like, that is not him.
You can clearly see his face, and it's not him. Like they're not
he's
even
fighting-
trying.
He kind of fights. I think it's like 3 reptiles or something.
Yeah, we're jumping
Yeah,
ahead
yeah,
though. That's
yeah.
like near the end of the movie.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, wow, it's like Ray Park is playing Reptile. And then there was one shot. I'm like, wait a minute, Ray Park is playing Raiden.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm seeing double. 4 Ray Parks.
He played just like he played Toad in X-Men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's a reptile.
So
You know what happens when Toad gets hit by lightning?
Same as everything else.
Yeah, and then the audience jumps to their feet and they're like, whoa.
Wait, why aren't they jumping to their feet? Applauding.
Yeah, Joss Whedon is sweating. He's like, I wrote that line of dialogue in my uncredited rewrite.
Oh my god.
Oh man. So
this is a big fight scene. Sub-Zero show up and Scorpion, they fight. They're unrelated to anything. But then Scorpion kidnaps Katana.
Kitana, yeah. So the
Kitana.
bridge breaks. First of all, I was like fist pumping when Scorpion did his like, get over here.
It's like overdubbed from the guy who does it in the video game too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Scorpion,
then-
played by JJ Perry. I can see it in the eyes.
So he grabs Katana and then takes. Oh man.
The best scene in the movie.
Uses
Sorry,
this-
I want to give you some build up.
He uses this CGI magic portal. It gets sucked into this portal, but in order to get into the portal, he jumps across the bridge.
Yeah.
And then the portal appears behind him, and then he gets sucked back in.
A purple portal.
And it looks like a puckered asshole.
It does. And what does Scorpion scream as he goes through?
Suckers!
Now, does he scream sucker because he's horrified that he's being sucked into a portal?
I have
And
no
that's
idea.
what they call them in this
They
dimension.
are the
Suckers.
suckers.
Is that what he did in the video game? Did he prank people and then just go, suckers?
I don't recall
Wait.
him ever saying suckers.
So is Scorpion out of the movie? Is he the one that gets thrown in the pit and then explodes?
I don't think so.
I have no idea, but Scorpion also died in the first movie, so I guess this is another one.
This is his brother too.
This may have been like,
They all have brothers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't think he ever comes back into the movie because I don't remember him ever saying "get over here" again. And I would have remembered that.
Shao Kahn is one of those great villains that like his underlings keep failing, and instead of saying, "All right, go try your hardest," he like just kills them.
Yeah, he's killing them all over the
Flaming
place.
pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always tosses him into a hole.
And then a big fire flame goes up.
I'm still alive down here. We need more flames.
Wait, if he threw like a scorpion in there, isn't Scorpion's whole thing flames? Remember in the first one they go to like the flame dimension where they reveal he has like a skull head?
Yeah, and then he shoots flames out.
Skull face.
Oh, yeah, that was the fight with Johnny
just
Cage.
like, it's just making me stronger, fool. Throw me in the flame
That was
pit.
the big Johnny Cage.
Well, there was the
fight.
funny
It was really
scene.
Cool.
I think it's kind of here where we get introduced to Shao Kahn and his like rogues gallery of villains.
But you're all
Yeah.
characters.
So we
from
meet
the
Centaur
game.
Man, we meet Shiva, the four arms
What's
person.
the mother's name?
Oh, Sindel.
Sindel.
Creature.
Yeah, so we're
Right. And
introduced to her at
she-
the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's Shiva.
Oh, yeah.
Shiva is the
What's her
multiple
famous line
arms.
about, how does it go exactly? It's like...
Too bad you will die.
Yeah, she's Katana's resurrected mother, and Katana
Was
says,
that a part of the first one?
I don't
'Cause,
remember.
like,
No.
was
She
the
wasn't
audience
in it
supposed
at
to be
all.
like, her mother? No!
Was it part of the video game lore? I don't know.
If it was, it would have just been like in the manual, like the backstory. It's not in the game. And also, if it was, like, it would be like a text screen. Nobody actually read the story of Mortal Kombat.
Would they have like
Kombat, yeah.
would they have character descriptions in the game when you select the characters?
No, not when you select a character.
Okay.
It was just, I think if you do adventure mode, I feel like there's like a scroll of text and that's it, and it just explains to you like what you're doing.
I bet you
I'm
there was
just
like
hitting that button to get past it.
it was in the novelization or something like that.
You know it. The poor kid who couldn't see the movie is like, I guess I'll read the novelization. And you know there was a Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh, of course.
Novelization written by
Alan Dean Foster.
So yeah, who else is part of the Rogues Gallery? I
There's
forget.
the Red Ninja. There's Ermac.
Ermac, yeah.
And I think that's it. And then they're all kind of vying for the general position. Shao Kahn, then he picks Sindel.
Because during this time, Robin Shu and Sonya Blade's gone, I think. He's still with Katana. Did we skip them fighting Noob Saibot or whatever?
No, that's
Yes.
later.
So
Well,
Sonya,
it's like happening at the same time.
yeah, she kind of split up and went and meets up with Jax,
Okay, yeah, Jax.
who was in the first movie.
Like briefly,
He
though,
was,
right?
but he didn't have his metal things. And, like, his metal things, where is she? Like, where did
have
Jax get this
no-
operation
no
to
idea.
get, like, big metal arms?
It's just like some military complex.
Yeah, so I think Raiden drops her off in a hamster ball by this,
Yep.
I don't know, this military installation or something. And Jax is just lying on this operating table.
But he's strapped down.
And nobody's around him. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? This is where I lost the thread, is because we forgot Noob Saibot, because he shoots missiles out of his chest.
Yeah.
And that was one of the guys that they fought earlier, and Sub-Zero froze him, and he blew up.
Oh, yeah. You know who they fought earlier? I think that was Smoke.
Oh,
There was a guy named Smoke.
That's right.
And he did blow smoke. But he looks like Noob Saibot, which is confusing.
well, there's
There's like 3 models.
yeah, there's
of, like,
3
guys.
androids. I think one is like black, one is yellow, one is red, maybe, or I can't remember.
There's these robot guys.
But in this Jax scene where she meets Jax, then the yellow robot shows up.
Yeah, I think his name is Cyrax.
Oh, yeah, that's
I remember
right.
Cyrax. I don't remember Noob Saibot being like a character that I could select, but I remember Cyrax.
I just remember the name Noob Saibot.
People listening to this are like, "What are they talking about?"
happening?
It's like a Clockwork Orange.
I'm sure we have some Mortal Kombat game fans out there.
Yeah, but we're like mispronouncing it, or they're like, Katana's mother is incredibly important to the story of Mortal Kombat.
Oh, man. I felt
guess.
like Sam Neill at the end of like Mouth of Madness watching this movie, like cackling. I could just like
Well, technically, it is a Lovecraft movie because it is all about the Elder Gods, which
Yeah,
are big in Mortal Kombat in Lovecraftian lore.
But okay, so when Jax and Sonya are fighting Cyrax,
Yes.
his secret weapon, or not so secret, but
It's like acid pee.
His chest opens up and he shoots missile. First he shoots a missile. And first of all, this attack is so slow. It takes so long.
So long.
So
It's really
long.
like a version like 3.1.
And
Like they're not quite there yet.
It's a CGI effect. So
Yeah,
they
it's a
can make it as
CGI
fast
missile.
as they want.
If this was real life, if you were fighting someone, you would be dead. Like you could never use this attack in the game because people
Well,
would have
maybe
kicked
it's
the crap
like
out of
the
you.
rules of Power Rangers and those other Japanese style shows that, like, you know, it's an unwritten rule that you have to let your other opponent do their move
First.
Yeah.
Come on, I spent all this money having a missile in my chest.
My kid can't go to college unless I pull this off.
And yeah, they repeat that animation a couple times.
Yeah, so
They take
sometimes
good
on
money for it, so
different
you're going to see it a
people.
few times.
Yeah, so the
Well,
slow
doesn't he
missile...
shoot like liquid? 'Cause
Yeah.
it like melts a guy at one point.
Yeah, so he
What-
shoots a missile, and then that blows things up because they're easily able to jump out of the way. And then he slowly shoots acid or something, and then Jax throws one of the bad guys in front of it, and it it dissolves him in an amazing effect.
Who are these bad guys? Oh yeah, and when you say amazing, it's like the shittiest CG.
It's so good. It looks like something you'd see on like Hercules: The Legendary Journey.
It looked. I was saying like Goosebumps. Worse than like Babylon 5.
He kind
way
of
worse.
dissolves into like a skeleton or something like that.
He looks so surprised too. He's like, "Oh, like me and Cyrax are best pals. How can he do this to me?" This fight ends in an amazing way, though, where like Cyrax is like surrounded by flame, and Sonya Blade like looks around and picks up some dust off the ground and throws it at him.
Yeah, I wasn't sure
And he's like, "Ah!"
what that
He blows
was.
up.
Was that explosive dust? Or
Yeah, this is one of the shots that when he blows up,
Oh, it's so
I
funny.
could swear that there's interlacing. That it looked like they shot it off of a monitor or something like that.
Gonna have to rewatch it to find out.
A probably down to the wire, I would say. So, oh man, we're not even like scraping the surface of the bad CGI in
we've
this movie.
only
'cause
just
we need to
began.
join Robin Shou in his journey.
Well, he gets obviously split up. He's alone, and everyone says, "You're not ready." They say that to him about 50 times in this movie. You're not
He
ready.
just beat the main bad guy in the first movie like an hour ago.
Yeah.
It's like they're not ready. So I think at some point he's told, I think by Raiden, that he has to go meet Nightwolf, who we don't know who it is. But first of all, we meet the Elder Gods.
Yeah.
that-
You
is
mean
that
like
here?
giant CG renderings from those? April will know this YTV like interstitials.
Yeah,
that would
that's
play
right. I
at,
think
like,
they were
11
called
PM.
short circuits. I want to
Short
say
circuit. Yeah.
it does look like that, and that was like early CG. That was like again,
Yeah.
like, it was like Reboot. Reboot was like the first.
Yeah,
like
you expect
fully
like one of
CG.
those big birds to come flying through.
Yeah.
It looks like it's supposed to be like earth, air, fire, and water, but like the earth is. Just looks like poop is like spraying out of like a
I
hole.
think that's water. It's supposed
A
to be water.
doorway.
Well,
That's
this is
supposed
the
to
thing.
be water.
hard would it have been to make like a little cycling waterfall?
Well, 97, the thing that computers have always struggled with is stuff like fire, smoke, and water especially.
Yeah.
1997, no chance. You've got no chance in hell.
I think that a little movie called Surf's Up about surfing penguins finally mastered CGI water.
I liked
Wait,
that
when
movie.
was that? Well,
That was
the
after.
2000s.
That was after. Yeah.
that was much,
Yeah,
much
so-
That
later,
was
yeah.
like
And
a-
Die Another Day as well.
That was
of
like
course.
a documentary style animated movie. It was very silly.
Yeah, so we see these guys, and the only way I could tell that it was fire was because of the crackling sound effect that they use, and it just sounds like somebody is crinkling up like wrapping paper. It's like, and then the sound
effects
effect
are bad.
The sound effect that they use
Really
for
bad.
water sounds like somebody like shit farting. It's like
Like, how hard would it have had to been to have like a flame bar to represent fire?
no kidding. You know why? Because the effect soup is like
It's like I could do that. It'll look
do that in
great.
CG.
Yeah, it'll be cheaper.
They have fire. Remember the pit that Shao
they
Khan
do.
throws
Hey,
people into?
It's literally one of the first things that, man created was fire.
I guess they wanted it to look like magic fire or something.
Well, it's kind of like human shaped, but not really.
But what's happening in the scene is just Raiden is talking to the gods, and then he's just like pleading with them about something. It's very vague.
Well, he's saying
It's
that
like
Shao Kahn.
we'll answer question 3. It's like, why will you
Oh,
only
yeah.
answer 3 questions?
Yeah, 3 questions.
3 questions? Really?
Are you really the head of the Cookie Mart?
So then they ask him, he's like, hey, how can Shao Khan break the rules and do this and blah, blah, blah. And then they don't really give him any answers. And then...
they're like real gods, you know.
Yeah, pretty
they're
much.
very petty and stuff can change.
They make him give up his immortality in order to save them, but it doesn't seem to save them at all. I don't know what that deal did.
Yeah.
All it did was make him immortal.
Yeah, they say,
immortal.
you're going to fight for these humans. And he's like, yes, I respect
Do you
them or
love
something.
them?
Do you love them enough to give up your immortality? And then we cut away. So
he kind of like looks in the camera and he's like, you're probably wondering how I got here.
Yep, that's me.
Because Robin Shou meets up with Beastman, who is just a terrible looking CG
He's a
creation.
beastie.
This is, holy God, the CG.
Nightwolf.
It's just with the CG, there's no effort made to integrate it into the scene in any way. No attempt to like match the lighting. So,
Like, couldn't they have borrowed like the suits from like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 or something like that?
totally.
Like, was Tom Woodruff like waiting by the phone for that call to like make a Beast Man?
Goro still looks amazing. I follow them.
Amazing!
I follow them on
I mean-
Instagram, and they're always posting videos from like behind the scenes of that.
I know that Goro is like very tough to do.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because all those effects are always like failing. So maybe it was just a case of, we'll fix it in post. This CG guy, Colin Cunningham, says that he can do it for us.
Yeah, there's no like animatronics in this movie. There are some makeup effects and some practical effects, but I don't recall any like actual animatronics
I don't think so,
or
yeah.
puppets.
They should
The
have.
Centaur Man gets close-ups of his feet, which are prosthetics, but no like like you said, animatronics.
moving
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just the front
Yeah.
half of him is practical, and then behind him is like a CGI tail and kind of
Yeah,
ass
and
end.
Shiva either has just rubber arms that aren't moving or they're like CGI.
I can't. Yeah, it looks like they kind of cloned her upper arms and just
Yeah.
lowered them down. But there's some really early versions of like CGI doubles. Like I'm sure I think it was when Reptile appears or something like that.
And he splits it into a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Or is that Noob Saibot? Who knows?
God, who cares? Yeah, but there were some CG doubles, and CGI was not ready for it at the time.
And in this scene, Beastman, aka Nightwolf, says, let's just call him Beastie, because that's what he looks
Yeah,
like.
he does.
Those like Beast Wars animated
Beast Wars.
things.
Yeah, he's a wolf.
Beast Wars.
And I recall
Da-da-da-da.
him looking like the werewolves in American Werewolf in Paris.
Oh yeah. That's
Oh,
what-
maybe they
not
used
as
the
good.
same elements. Wait, what was the one that they like stretched it out, Colin, to like use on something else?
Oh, it was the werewolf from American Werewolf in Paris that they reused for Spawn.
Oh, and we may be talking about that in the future.
Oh, yes.
But, yeah,
Stay tuned to the end of
let's
the
keep that under our hat. So I guess Robin Shou goes on like a spiritual journey, and it seemed like I thought it was his mother that was showing up, and it looked like he wanted to have sex with her, maybe his sister.
No, that's Jade. And Nightwolf
I was
is like,
very confused.
And
embrace
Nightwolf
your,
knocks him out with like a tomahawk.
says,
or
embrace
something.
your animality, which is
Yeah.
a thing that from the game.
So like, are animalities like? I guess they were big in like Mortal Kombat 3, right?
Possibly, I can't quite remember, but it was like a form of a fatality. You turn into an animal, and then you would like bite
okay.
someone's head off.
Yeah, remember
I
they
believe.
had babalities as well. You could
Yeah.
turn them into babies.
You turn your enemy into
So what
a
if
baby.
like Robin Shou is told you have to accept your inner baby?
And then he shows up as a little baby. But yeah, he has like this sexy fight with Jade, and it's really funny that she's like, "That was just a test." And you passed, and he's like, that was one of Nightwolf's tests. We could have killed each other.
No.
Yeah, dude.
I think his exact words, because I wrote it down, is like, that was one of Nightwolf's crazy tests. Like,
Crazy tests. And she's.
I gotta say, I feel really bad for Robin Shou in this movie because it feels like they shot the rehearsals and put them in the movie.
Yeah,
I agree.
In
He's
every
much
way.
better, and I know he's not like the world's greatest actor, but he was much better in the first.
He's
movie.
Like,
more
there's a line
charismatic.
at the end where he's like, "You cannot die."
Yep, we got it.
I feel so.
Yeah,
I feel so bad for him.
it's like
Moving on.
everyone in this movie is bad, except for Jax. I feel like he's corny, but at least he sounds like he believes what he's saying.
Yeah, he's at least got like a character. He's like the sassy black guy.
James Remar, who is an actual actor who's been in huge movies and TV shows, is just like, he just is acting like he doesn't care
He's so
at all.
flat, and you can't compare him.
It feels like he doesn't even know where he is.
No.
Like,
Probably didn't.
we didn't. Okay, I'm gonna pick a favorite thing, and I could pick a lot out of this movie. I love how everybody like flips into the scenes.
Oh yeah,
Like everybody, and like the wire work in this movie is so bad and clunky. It's like they hang in the air like 1 second too long when they jump.
And some of them are in slow motion too.
Yeah. It's like as if you're like at the fairgrounds and they pull you up and they're like, oh, we don't quite got it yet. Let's try one more time. But they kept that first time in the movie.
The director's like, nope, moving on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
we got it.
Time is money, everybody.
I mean, yeah, everyone flips. It's just a part of the fun.
Well, this Jade character, I don't remember her from the game, but
I remember her.
There are times when she looks like Bai Ling.
Yeah.
Oh, she does look like Bai Ling. I was trying to figure out who she looked like. I like at one point, Robin Shu's like, Katana? And she's like, you wish. Like, what?
She looks nothing like Katana.
She's like some Russian model. I don't think she was in many movies, but it's a really
Okay, can we talk about like the actor that replaced Sonya Blade? What is the weird accent that she has?
Yeah.
She's Swiss. I was actually watching it and I'm thinking, she's got an accent. There's some weird
She's
pronunciation.
trying to hide it, and then but it comes out, and she's also not the greatest actress.
Yeah, she's from Switzerland. And there's one point where they're all just standing around talking, and everybody just has these horrible accents. None of them can read the dialogue or say the
all
lines.
speaking phonetically.
They're all
even
terrible.
James Remar.
Yeah, I don't know who it was I was talking about that sounded like they were saying their lines phonetically.
I think it was Sindel.
Yeah, maybe. She also is acting like she's not, English is not her first language.
But I think it is, though. And that's the weird thing.
She's just a bad actress.
She's such a bad actress. If you look
Fun
up...
fact, everybody, I looked up both actors who played Sonya Blade, and they each have 33 credits each.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe at that point they like turned to stone or something like that. They're like, "You're 41, no more acting for you."
Yeah, it's like Menudo. They get retired, and then like younger ones come in.
Wait, what is that? Logan's Run, the carousel?
Yeah.
Oh
They're
my
like
God.
the little gem in their hand starts blinking, and then they explode.
So the other Sonya was
like-
in Billy Madison.
Michael York starts chasing them.
Come onto this set of Mortal Kombat 3, and they like come in, and it's like it's like Goodfellas, like plastic everywhere. They're like,
Just
wait,
come-
where's Robin Shu? Robin Shu's behind her, and she like pulls the trigger.
So now we move on to the Team Reunites. They've been
Finally,
doing all
it's
these
like the
separate-
Avengers getting
It's like
together.
the gang is back together again. And so they meet up at the Elder Temple where we last saw Raiden.
Well, Raiden gets a great like, "Hello, my fellow kids" introduction.
It's like he jumps in from off screen.
He's like,
doesn't he?
hey, I got a haircut.
You expect him to come in with like a skateboard and be like, "What's up? Eat my shorts."
Just gleaming the cube.
Oh yeah, he does have like a Bart Simpson haircut.
He does. He's got this like blonde
It's a little
buzz cut.
spiky, yeah. We forgot to mention, I don't know if it was before or after this, the gratuitous fight between Sonya Blade and Melina, who is the
yeah,
character
they're, like, rolling around in the mud.
I always played as Melina in the game. She was supposed to be Katana's twin sister, and there's a moment where she's like, Katana, and she's like, oh, does she say you wish? No.
Oh, yeah, I think she says you wish.
Yeah, but why would Sonya wish it was her?
I don't know.
I don't know, yeah. Anyway, she doesn't take her mask off, and they just have a fight in the mud, and that's it. In the next scene, no mud on any of Sonya's clothes.
Oh, yeah,
and
she's immediately clean. in the
It's a
next
very, like...
They got one of those Evil Dead 2 little things that she just like patted herself and that she was good.
Yeah, that was like the little something for daddy scene, you know.
I don't know, Colin, as the two rugged men of this podcast,
Yes.
do you find it, or, April, you jump in too, why would you be, like, aroused by people rolling around in the mud? Just things dirty and sticky.
It's not.
I'm
like,
not,
Mud
no.
wrestling is not.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people, I think it's just like macho guys who think they should like it.
Like
It's
it,
just
like nobody
dirt.
actually likes it.
Cheer
They're like,
for it.
yeah, I like this.
It's like, I don't know, it's like construction workers where they feel they have to catcall and like whistle after women, but it's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, and Sonya, what am I doing with my life?
They're putting on an act.
Sonya is sexualized in this a lot. There's a lot of her nipples, protruding, more so than the first movie, I would say.
Yeah.
She was always the cool, tough girl, and she is in this, but she also... she has to be rescued a few times. Although that is true in the first movie as well. She gets her arm is like behind her back, and then Shang Tsung takes her to Outworld at one point. Oh yeah,
he takes her through like the Jello
it's
tube.
tropey. But one good thing about Sonya is she does a lot of these cool like flips where she like jumps on people and then flips them with her legs.
Oh yeah,
another move from the game. So
there's so many moves from the game in this.
Yeah, and she like snaps a neck or two. I think that was one of her signature moves too.
Yeah,
and so they get back together and they go back to the real world, which just looks like where they were.
Well, this is where we first are introduced to Sindel's shrieking capabilities.
Oh yeah, she's like Banshee.
So yeah, they're trying to like summon, or Raiden's trying to summon a portal, but since he's mortal now, I guess his powers are waning, so he's like struggling and struggling. And then Shao Kahn and Sindel.
I was gonna make that joke, April. You beat me to it.
It's very because like isn't Jax?
Like, I can't get an erection. Can you women wrestle in the mud?
But then he like turns around.
That's what I like.
He like has his back facing them. It's like, let me try if I face
can't go
this
when
direction.
you're watching.
Yeah. And Jax is like, now would be about a good time to get that thing going.
Don't worry, Raiden. I got metal arms. They can pump, 100 times a second.
They can pump anything.
So Shao Kahn and Sindel show up with their army, and they're kind of watching from a cliff far away. And then like Sindel does this shrieking move, which I guess she does in the game, or
I don't remember.
Yeah, so it's like sends this shockwave through that starts like destroying the mountains around the characters, and the shockwave is gradually getting closer and closer to the lead guys.
Now that effect was miniatures, right?
It was miniatures. So one thing I did appreciate about this movie is they're the same thing with the kind of hamster ball scene, is that they did use miniatures they still look good. But they've just composited them so poorly into the scenes.
Yes.
Whenever they do like a mixture of CG and miniatures, it just looks really, really bad.
Yeah, like Shao Kahn's castle is a miniature, but it's in front of like this purplish, like really badly comped green screen.
Yeah, which is really bad. So then they have the mountains are shattering, and you can tell they've kind of they've zoomed into some of the shots digitally, and it just looks like a big mess.
So they end up back on Earth, I guess, and they're like, oh no, look, there's the Eiffel Tower.
Oh yeah, the Golden Gate Bridge.
But it's all stock footage, and it's stock footage that looks like it was shot on 16mm film in the 60s. Like it looks so bad and old.
What's really great about this, though, is that like somehow they learned a prophecy that only Katana can defeat her mother and save everybody, something like that,
they
right?
They keep saying Katana's the key to all this. They said that like 20 times.
But it's never clear.
And she never does anything. She does beat her mom up eventually, but...
Well, the whole joke is that they have a big fight, and then like they think that they have her mom on the ropes, but then she gets back up and she's like, "Ha ha! We just lied about the prophecy to fool you."
And Jade double crossed them.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like, why would you do that? That's very complicated.
It's very confusing.
Just like more confusion on this plot.
We get what obviously inspired Cats is that the bad woman starts spinning and laughing, and she just disintegrates into the air.
Yeah.
Macavity.
Who was it?
Magic.
Who was it that did that? It was Skimble Shanks, I think.
Oh, okay.
Didn't he spins really, really fast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then disappears.
But we have to.
Yeah, isn't he like he explodes?
Yeah, Skimble. So Liu Kang actually rescues Katana because poor Katana, Talisa Soto, the actor, she was kidnapped way at the beginning of the movie, and she spends the entire film in like a hanging cage in Shao Kahn's lair, not doing anything, which I guess is kind of a sweet gig as an actor.
Anyway.
Oh, that's right.
One of the better actors in this.
I forgot, because that's where Robin Shu fights the Rawhead Rexes. The Baraka.
Baraka. Now, Baraka looks real bad.
Holy cow, he looks bad.
It is a practical makeup face. I kind of wish they did a CG face.
No, you don't wish that it was a CG face.
Well, it looks bad.
Yeah, it's a bad practical one. It looks very cartoony, but this IMDb trivia just blew my mind. They wanted to cast Sylvester Stallone as Baraka.
Oh my God.
And he turned them down.
Why?
I feel like a fan just added that.
I would love that.
He wouldn't be able to see his face.
I know, but that's, it's like good monster suit actors, You can't have Robert Englund not play Freddy.
Exactly.
Suckers!
People know.
I would love that.
That's right.
I'm just trying to imagine Sylvester Stallone showing up for this one quick fight scene. And that's it?
Isn't there two Barakas in this movie, too?
Well,
would it have been Sylvester and Frank Stallone?
There was
that'd be amazing. Only if Frank Stallone gets to like play a musical number.
Yeah, he's got to do the closing song.
Then I'm in.
He has like a saxophone. It's like,
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat.
oh, they have like a dance off.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Wait, does Frank Stallone dance?
Frank Stallone can do anything.
Does Sylvester
he's anything.
Stallone dance?
Frank Stallone is a right-wing Swiss Army
Oh
knife.
Yeah, he's got it all.
Oh, so good.
So they save him. At this point, it kind of turns into a purple mush in my head.
Yeah, this
Well,
is where everything
I
just
don't
started to
remember.
wash over me, and it was just like a series of images and noises. And
They have a big like end battle showdown where it's like Katana versus her mom. Jax wants to take on Centaur Man.
yeah,
Also, Shiva gets unceremoniously killed by the cage landing on her.
Shiva doesn't even throw one punch.
Yeah.
She's just like, and something falls on top.
you know
of her.
why? I bet you because the effects were too complicated to do.
Guaranteed
animate.
that
They could only have her standing and facing camera, and it would make it easier for them to clone her arms. And as soon as she was in a fight, they couldn't do it. So she shows up and is instantly killed.
Yeah, and it's Liu Kang versus Shao Khan, and Jade gets killed by Shao Kahn's like CGI monster thing.
Whatever it is.
She
yeah.
gets fed to the
Gargoyle?
whatever.
And for the kids, it gives a little burp, and it's like,
God.
yeah, good comedy moment.
My favorite bit is the Jax versus Centaur fight. It's so funny.
Oh, that's your favorite part?
Yeah.
Is it going to be because we suddenly realized that Jax got ripped off of the armor that he got?
Yeah, well, earlier in the movie, Raiden says, you just have to have faith in yourself. You don't need these cybernetic enhancements.
And so when he said that, I was like, well, how is Jax going to get them off? Like, those have been, like, surgically sewn into his
That's
skin,
what I
right?
assumed.
Colin thought they were his arms.
I'm pretty sure he gets
Yeah,
his
I
arms
thought that
torn
they were
off.
his arms, too.
Because that's one of the fatalities, is you can rip Jax's arms off. I think.
Nope. They're just, like, a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just big rubbery things.
Oh, it's just so lame. They're like, what's he
Yeah.
going to do? Yeah, so
It's just a
I guess,
sleeve.
does he have a flashback? He kind of hears, like, Raiden saying it.
It would have been great if, like, Jax got his arms ripped off, and it's like, I was always a great soccer player, and he, like,
And he
defeats
just
him
like
with his legs.
kicks him to death. Yeah,
But he doesn't get them ripped off. He rips them off himself, and then he realizes
Yeah.
he has no arms.
They're like sleeves. That's it.
No, so he kicks the crap out of Centaur Man.
Yeah, he kicks the crap out of him and then like punches
Kicks
him in the
balls.
ball sack or something. It's some sort of vague,
Horse
flabby
nuts.
area under.
Oh, we forgot though that Raiden goes down like a chump and gets killed by his brother by like one energy ball.
Yeah, he's so lame.
He didn't stand a chance because James Remar can't do fight scenes, and it looks like he didn't train at all. Like his stuff was like all done by.
I have so many questions.
double.
What was Christopher Lambert doing in 1997 that he couldn't come back for this movie?
He was doing Beowulf. That
Oh,
terrible,
speaking of a movie
terrible
with a lot of
Beowulf movie.
backflips.
Well,
Yeah.
at least that movie had a bigger budget.
Well, maybe.
Beowulf? No,
No, it's
it
not
did
the one you're
You're thinking of the Robert Zemeckis
Yeah,
one.
that's not what you're talking about.
No, this is like the Christopher Lambert Beowulf.
I thought they started it really early.
Beowulf.
No. The Christopher Lambert Beowulf one is like a Mortal Kombat ripoff.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like kind of like Mortal Kombat. Beowulf in that movie, Grendel in that movie is just like a monster suit that they put like a CGI blob over.
What?
Like one of those like shimmery things
Oh,
the
no.
entire time. Yeah.
Okay, so did that come out in
Not
theaters
good.
or was that like a straight to video?
I think it was supposed to be a theatrical film and it went to straight to video. I think it may have the same composer as Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Same guy. He gets around.
Come
That's
see
George
Christopher Lambert's
that's
Beowulf.
George Clinton. He's in Funkadelic, and then he later did the score to this movie
can't
and The
believe-
Matrix.
Yeah.
I mean, the score of this movie, it honestly feels at times that they just like needle drop and it just goes to the next track in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, and it was so weird because I forget what fight it was, but I'm like, God, I recognize this song. It's from the Matrix soundtrack. Not the Don Davis like orchestral score, but it's just one of the tracks that you got on the Matrix soundtrack.
Like one of the fight scene tracks.
Yeah, and I'm like, God, that's the track from the Matrix. And then later on, they start playing the song from the final fight of the Osiris, the Animatrix short. Like,
Listen, if Jerry Goldsmith can do it, or no, sorry, not Jeremy Horner, James Horner can do it.
yeah, but
this
this is literally the same song, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then so I looked up, and I'm like, oh, Matrix is 2 years later.
Yeah, so it was in this
Did
first.
you see the composer was like, no one's going to watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
Yeah, and I found the composer. You had mentioned him in our Matrix Patreon episode.
Yeah, I was just joking about the George Clinton thing.
It's George S. Clinton.
It's not really George Clinton.
Yeah, I actually thought it was George Clinton from Parliament, but no.
I don't want any angry tweets.
But yeah, so the guy that did the fight scene music for the Matrix sequels did some of the tracks for this movie.
What was his name? It's something along the lines of like Junkie XL or something. Right?
Cool, like DJ name?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like Ham Solo or something like that.
And so, yeah, he just reused tracks from Mortal Kombat Annihilation and The Matrix.
They were too good to use on just one movie.
No, you can't wait. No, it's just like...
I recognize one of those songs from, I think, the first Charlie's Angels movie. I like, it's just a generic, like... I swear to God, it's in. Yeah. Dude, that's absolutely in the first Charlie's Angels movie.
Okay, well, we've been burying the lead because we get to the best part of the movie, which I had completely forgotten about. Brian Thompson faces off against Robin Shou.
Oh my God!
And they both do embrace their animality.
This is where
turn into beasties.
This is where I just appreciate the balls on the VFX supervisor. It's like, not only are we going to have a fight, but it's going to be a CGI fight, 2 CGI animals. And I wonder at what point they realize, like, oh my God, we've made a horrible mistake.
Like, to be a fly on the wall when like the director and the producer are sitting there watching like the final rendered version.
Oh my God.
Well, like earlier in the movie, there are these like tattoos that come to life and turn into little dragons, and that looked like terrible. And this is like that times a million. It's just, like a million times worse.
Yeah, you just have these 2 horrible CGI things like fighting one another.
So Liu Kang's a dragon, and Shao Khan is like this weird 3-headed
He's like
thing.
the shittiest dragon in the world.
Yeah.
He's like the dragon in like the like Spanish ripoff of Dragonheart.
Yeah, like I wish we had the Dragonheart CGI.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of a Spanish name for Dragonheart, but whatever.
El Dragonhearto.
El Heart de Dragon.
Yeah, it's a good.
Yeah, El Hato de Dragon.
Harto de Dragons.
That's a good Spanish accent.
Yes.
I'd like to point out that in the ripoff of Dragonheart that Charles Band made, they used a big prosthetic dragon.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. And it was supposedly a nightmare because they shot in Romania, and obviously it didn't work.
Is that a full moon picture?
Yeah, I believe it is. I can't remember. A Moonbeam picture.
If that's the case,
Full
it's
Moon's,
probably
family arm.
It was like their touchstone.
It's probably
pictures.
on Tubi then, because Tubi seems to have the entire Full Moon catalog.
Yeah, they do.
Guaranteed. It's crazy we haven't done like one of those shitty Full Moon movies like it's not Dinotopia. Oh, I think one of them is called Dinotopia.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I know.
It's all like the little
about,
dinosaurs.
yeah.
Yeah, they have so much crap on Tubi.
The funny
It's
thing
great.
is, we watch Full Moon movies, but we haven't yet done them on the podcast.
Yeah, we watched Arcade the other night.
Talk about bad CGI.
It's so bad.
Oh god, so bad. And you guys didn't even see the original CGI.
No, not until you showed me the trailer, which still looks bad, but
It still looks bad. Albert Pune abandoned that film before it was done.
yeah, he was just like, I'm out, you guys. Finish it without me.
Peace.
Yeah, he shot that back to back with Dollman.
Really?
And I liked Dollman. I realized Dollman has problems.
That's what I was saying. There's kind of like a rock quarry in that movie, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that looks like the opening. Or sorry,
that rock quarry is all over the
It's
place.
in
That's
Nemesis
right.
too.
That's right. It looked like
Yeah.
it was from Dollman.
Yeah, they
remember that.
get their money's worth.
So getting back to Mortal Kombat, the 2 like giant CGI hemorrhoids are like fighting each other.
This is just like, it's like the T-Rex and the Indominus Rex like fighting in Jurassic Park 3.
I wish.
I almost forgot. Did you guys notice the Terminator 2 music that popped up when the yellow guy went through like the flames?
What?
No.
When Jax, it was like dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I recall that like a big sound, but I didn't know
Yeah,
it was that.
Cyrax when he shows up.
No.
Well, why not? This
Shao
is
Kahn.
Okay, but so yeah.
Shao Kahn is like this Hydra, the CGI Hydra.
Yeah, you can see that the designers are like, oh, it'll be like a Ray Harryhausen's thing.
Yeah.
But shitty.
Well, it almost looked like, I think I was asking Colin, I was like, is this stop motion? I guess I was just wishful thinking.
Yeah,
because it's like CGI that almost looks like stop motion.
It's CGI that's just so badly animated that it's really herky-jerky and it kind of looks like stop motion.
Yeah, the movement.
That is, it's 100% not the intention, but it's just so badly animated that it looks like that.
Yeah.
And they only fight for like 30 shitty seconds, and then they turn back into humans.
Yeah, they probably
And
saw
then
the
they
footage.
fight more, and then Liu Kang wins.
But they fight Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
because they're
what's his
mortal
name?
now. Get it, guys?
Yeah, I get it now.
Shinnok, their dad shows up and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna like kill Liu Kang for you." And then the Elder Gods appear and they're like, "Nope, this can only be settled through Mortal Kombat."
Bum, 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 bum. So they have Mortal Kombat, and what disappointed me is there's a big moment at the end of the first movie where Liu Kang shoots fire. He never shoots fire in this movie.
Is he really?
Yeah, that was his signature move.
Oh,
Because everybody shoots fire in this movie. They're endlessly shooting fire at each other.
Yeah, well, Liu Kang didn't get to. And also he had that move where he like floats and kicks the guy and he's like,
yeah, it's like
"Whoa."
bicycle kick.
Yeah, he doesn't do that either. He just keeps kicking him over and over and flipping.
Oh, isn't it no shadow kick? Isn't that the move, or is that a different character?
Oh, that's a different move, I think. I know the one you're talking about. He kind of kicks up and then slides along the
jumps.
ground.
yeah, slides along kicking. That's like a Wong Fei Hung move from the Once Upon a Time in China series.
Is it really?
Yeah,
So
it's no shadow kick.
What happens? He beats him and then
He just defeats him, like
yeah.
not even in like a big climactic
No.
way or anything.
Lame.
This film, like if you guys haven't gotten an indication of this, has no pace. Like it barely has any acts, and whatever development happens, they actually vocalize it. Like Sonya
Yeah.
Blade's
Yeah.
like, "Finally, I asked for help."
Yeah, everyone just says their character motivations
Yeah.
and growth.
It just seems like the entire thing, if you told me, hey, we're making a movie out of the Mortal Kombat game, this is the movie that I would imagine in my head. Like, what? It's going to be nonsense. It's going to be a bunch of fights. This is exactly what I imagine it would be like.
But believe it or not, the first movie, Paul W.S. Anderson classed it up a bit.
He actually had a plot, like a story.
He classed it up.
I mean, he ripped it off of Enter the Dragon.
It's totally-
but-
Yes, but it's still it was a crowd pleaser. I think that
I don't remember what I said last time, but that one is very incomprehensible as well. Like it goes
Yeah.
in like a million different
I
directions.
think we talked about it on maybe the Q&A episode, but I think maybe the question
okay.
was, are there any good video game movies? And I would absolutely argue Mortal Kombat is a good video game movie.
I will never forget because in that Q&A episode, you jumped on the grenade of Terminator Genesis.
We talked about
Saying it was a good
Oh,
movie.
yeah, and then we reviewed it again later, and I realized it was
Yeah.
bad. And I knew it was bad, but I said it was enjoyable,
It's a
and then
terrible
later
movie,
it
but
was
it's-
like,
yeah.
oh god, it's unwatchable.
Yeah, it's sort of entertaining in its badness, but I'll never watch it again, sort of thing.
Well,
but I saw Mortal
twice was
Kombat.
way too much.
I saw Mortal Kombat in the theater twice. Like,
Did you see Mortal Kombat Annihilation in the
oh
theaters?
no, God no.
You would have been like in horror.
There
Like,
was I want to say there was a kind of period in the 90s where it's like, my movie tastes weren't refined or
well, none of ours were.
yeah, it's just like I kind of liked pop entertainment crap regardless, and I didn't quite, hadn't developed my taste in movies yet.
Yeah, but now we watch more bad movies than good movies.
We do, but for the right reasons. It's sort of
We watch
like,
them ironically.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's
So next week, the bicycle thieves.
Yep.
Taking it to it.
Yep, we're doing the bicycle thieves.
Boring.
You know what? That movie's not even that great. I'm calling it out.
Whoa.
It's okay. It's really
that's good.
It's okay. So the end of the movie, Raiden becomes the new elemental god.
He's resurrected, so I
Yeah.
guess he takes Shinnok's place.
His hair should have got longer again.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Lame.
No, it's his new punk attitude.
Yeah, I'm
And
here to
then,
mix things up.
They just walk. They're like, "Yeah, we did it, guys," and they just walk. They go to walk off frame, and then it just ends.
It would have been great if at the end he comes back and it's like not James Remar anymore. It's Michael Pare, who I always confuse as James Remar.
What was Michael Pare in?
Streets of Fire.
He's in Streets of Fire.
Oh, they don't look that much.
Yeah, they all
alike.
kind of
Maybe
have
a
that
little bit.
look. Oh, and then Costas Mandalore also looks like the three of them as well.
Who is that?
I don't know who that is.
He's like some actor. He was actually married to Talisa Soto.
Who?
Katana.
Katana.
In this movie.
Okay.
I'm like
Okay.
Costas Mandalore. He was in like Mobsters. He was
Mobster, the classic Christian Slater film, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's like the crime classic. Godfather, Goodfellas, Mobsters,
Mafia, all the big ones.
Oh yeah, man, Mobsters has Patrick Dempsey in it.
Yeah, it was like the Young Guns for the crime mafia movies.
Stuff, yeah.
So lame.
So I'm glad that I forced you guys to watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
I'm glad too.
I have
kind of entertaining.
I have a question. Do you guys think this is better or worse than the Dragon Ball Z movie?
Oh, better.
Oh, this is much better.
Yeah.
Way more fun.
I agree.
Dragon Ball Z is so boring.
Dragon Ball Z also ends with a big disgusting person turning into an animal.
Yeah,
but the thing about
this one
Dragon
is
Ball
better.
Z is that it was insulting to the show, to what it was adapting.
Yeah.
And this one, you could say it is insulting to the show, but it's a video game there's really
It's
not
very
much there
pandering
anyway.
to the fans.
It gives the fans
It's
everything they could ever
Yeah,
want.
whereas Dragon Ball Z gives the fans nothing that they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the rise of the Skywalker of
Dragon Ball Evolution.
Mortal Kombat movies.
Just more.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got that kick-ass song.
Yeah, and the pacing is just right from the get-go. It's at 100 miles an hour, and it just doesn't slow down.
It goes
it's
by
just
fast,
Scene
which is
after scene
nice.
after scene after scene. There's so many.
I
fight
actually
scenes.
thought about Dragon Ball Z as well and being like, oh, so boring,
Yeah, it's
Dragon
really
Ball
boring.
Z.
Yeah.
Except for that amazing video that the guy made that's just Goku skidding his head on the car.
Oh man, and I think that one
You've
was like
seen
2
that, right?
hours.
Yeah, I have. It's so good.
I think you sent it to
so
us when we
good.
did that episode.
Yeah, so
If you're listening and you just search Goku head skid and it'll come up.
It's just him skidding over and over and
it's
over.
so
on the
good.
car.
I love
And
stuff
they're like,
that.
whoa, radical.
And for this movie, if you just look up on YouTube, worst line reading ever, and I'm not joking, it comes up. It's Sindel's line at the beginning of the movie.
That's actually where I had seen most of the clips of this movie was compilations of terrible movie clips online on YouTube.
And your favorite reviewer, the Nostalgia Critic.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he did this a long
Oh, did he?
time ago. Oh, yes.
whatever.
The less
Do you
said
still have
about
that
him,
signed
the better.
photo of him on your fridge?
No, I threw it out, of course. I threw it out long ago.
I put it under Sailor's kitty litter.
Sorry about my shameful past. I can never forgive
Whoa.
myself.
It's too bad that you shall die.
She goes, you. She says it in a really weird way. And she points. She spends a lot of the movie pointing. But kudos to her being a badass chick with gray hair, there's got to be some of them out there.
Her outfit, it was really funny. You kind of pointed it out, April, but I said all the outfits look really cheap. They were kind of shooting for the video games. It should never be
especially.
seen full screen on a theater screen, but her outfit in particular looks really cheap. It looks like one of the wrestling outfits from Glow or something.
It looks, and also you said it looks like she sewed it herself.
She sewed it herself, in her back room or something, or borrowed her mom's sewing machine.
Well, her mom was probably 80, so no, I'm just joking.
Her mom was 800 years old
Yeah.
because they're all gone.
She's not
She's
gonna need it
also not
anymore.
even that old. They make her to be a mom, and
Wait,
she's
she
38.
comes back at the end too.
Yeah, she's
does everybody get to come back to life?
Yeah, so she's
Where's
resurrected.
Johnny Cage?
She was
Yeah.
resurrected by Shao Khan, and then she appears in her normal form at the end.
yeah. But you'd think she would just whatever.
Who knows?
It's impossible to try and explain this movie.
Yeah. You
But
just have to
I'd
see
Can I
I'd
tell you
recommend it.
a funny Mortal Kombat Annihilation based joke?
Yes.
Sure.
Once a friend of mine got another friend a big box as a Christmas present, and he opened it up, and it was 10 Prometheus Blu-rays. And he took them all out, and at the bottom there was one DVD copy of Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
What is that, a prank gift?
Yeah, it was a
the
prank
bait
gift.
and switch, Prometheus.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good.
Why do you need 10
All right.
copies of Prometheus?
I don't know. People with too much money to spend.
Well, Mortal Kombat Annihilation is you can rent it on iTunes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like $5.
Why rent it when you can buy it for $9.99?
Yeah, I think you can also rent it on YouTube and all these other places.
I'm waiting for the Shout Factory special edition to properly purchase
4K
Mortal Kombat.
HDR.
I don't remember like what the video was or what the channel was, but there was some like good YouTube like history of Mortal Kombat, and it talks about the games and how the games were developed, and then it goes into the movies too.
Right.
I don't remember who it was though, so sorry, you'll have to search for it yourself.
I don't know if I
It was very
watched
educational.
that with you or something.
We did watch it together, but this was like over a year ago or something. It was a long time ago.
And then the creators of the game said the worst moment of the franchise was this movie.
Yeah.
Like the franchise, like everything, like, not just the movies. But the producer of this movie, he must have owned the rights. He's produced a ton of movies. Mm-hmm. And he was the one who started Lightstorm Entertainment with James Cameron. So he produced True Lies. And I just think he's held on to the Mortal Kombat rights, forever. It's all he's got.
Yeah, well, it's something.
Remember that reboot that came out?
Oh yeah, that was directed by what else had he done? He was like, it's a guy who did like a bunch of like dance movies, I think.
Oh, okay. Because
the one where Michael J. White played Jax.
Yeah.
Right?
So what happened is like somebody made like a trailer, not a trailer, but a short film, a Mortal Kombat reboot short film, where all the characters would be like he kind of took out the fantastical element, and they were all kind of like reality based. It was shot like 7. Reptile had like a skin condition, and
oh god,
Baraka was into like self mutilation and attached blades to his hand and stuff like that. But it was kind of just setting up the characters. It was actually really quite good. Like I kind of liked it. Michael Jai White was Jax, but it's like one of the names. He was like a sergeant or something in the police force, and then his door had his name on it. But one of the letters had fallen off, and it just said like Jax or whatever, stuff like that. And then it got greenlit into a series, and I think it was the same creators, but
it was the Blu-ray was everywhere.
Yeah.
They could not get rid of them.
But then the show that they made based on that went completely the opposite direction. It just went back to what the movie was like and the game was like. It was like set in this fantasy world. So everything they'd kind of set up, the whole premise of what made their short kind of interesting, was just thrown away, and then it was like this very generic kind of. I think it premiered on YouTube. Like the whole show.
Casper Van Dien played Johnny Cage.
Okay.
Wow. So that's something. Speaking of Michael Jai White, we're doing Spawn on the Patreon. We did a poll. If you were a patron, you may have seen it. You may have voted. So we had, I think, 5 movies, and Spawn blew them all out of the water.
This swept.
It was a landslide. So Spawn from 1997.
I can't wait.
That's going to be our a full-length bonus episode as a thank you to all of our patrons, because we hit over 100 patrons.
People need to know. Someone in this podcast recording group worked on the movie.
That's
so
right.
we're going to get the inside dirt.
Yeah, hopefully we won't repeat any stories you've told before, but who's
why
to
does
say?
that demon look like that? Colin's going to explain it in gritty detail. I mean, maybe April, maybe me, who knows?
Oh, I can tell you tales from the premiere. The
Yes,
Toronto
he went to the premiere of
with
the
Todd
movie.
Mcfarlane and Marilyn Manson.
So thank you for everyone who
Did Marilyn Manson suck his own dick?
find out on this episode. So thank you to everyone who's become a patron. We've had tons of new subscribers lately. I think we're up to 115 now.
Wow.
So absolute most heartfelt thank you. And
so 200 because of the Spawn episode, I hope.
Oh, man.
yeah.
The things
200 will do
release.
the Spawn series.
No.
Oh, God.
Wait, what other movie, Colin, have you worked on? We already did Wolverine Origins, so we hit like all the big ones.
The Wild.
No, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Oh, which I still haven't seen to this day.
We could do that as a mini episode, I think.
We should do it as a commentary if Colin's never seen
Yeah,
it.
I've never seen
That
it.
could
And
be
he's
funny.
reacting to it in
But
real
he's
time.
got stories from the
I
production.
got stories from that one. There was one called The Darkest Hour, which
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that like a Russian one?
it was a Russian one. So basically,
Yeah.
Timur Bekmambetov, who did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter,
Timur.
we
Colin's best friend.
Yeah, I think it was like after we did Abraham Lincoln or before, but it was his buddy, and he's like, "Hey, do me a favor, like do effects for my friend's movie," and it was this Emil Hirsch movie about lightning aliens. It was in 3D, and it was just a fucking nightmare to work on, just a nightmare.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the director or anything like that, but it was just a miserable project to work on. I've never seen that either, so hopefully, I think it's on like Prime.
It is. It's on something we were looking at the other day. It might have been iTunes. But the Spawn episode, that's coming out next week. So I don't have the date on me right now, but it's, let me just pull it up for 1 second. It will be out on July 31st, 2020. So I look forward to that, and it'll be available to all of the $5 patrons. And like I said, it'll be full length, and we'll be giving you the Spawn dirt. And I've also never seen Spawn, so it's going to be...
Oh,
You've
yeah.
never seen Spawn?
No.
Oh, it was a TBS staple for me.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I tuned in for 5 minutes one time on TV, and then I didn't like it, so I flipped away. But I'm willing to give it my full attention now.
Well, April, I hope you read all of Todd McFarlane's original run on Spawn.
Yeah.
I think it's
the only
still
way.
being published to this day.
Are you kidding?
Wow.
No,
Good
I'm
for
not.
him.
And I think it's one of
for them.
Image's best-selling titles as well.
Holy shit. He keeps threatening that he's going to do a remake. Never happens.
Yeah, with Jamie Foxx.
that sounds like it's on
Isn't
hold.
Jamie Foxx a little too old?
I don't know.
Yeah, Michael J. White's still around.
Yeah.
Just get him back. No, it's gonna be Michael B. Jordan, because he's the guy who's in absolutely everything now.
Oh no, it's a Blumhouse
Yeah,
production.
he's too
so-
good.
They
He's too
can't
good.
get Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
No.
Last thing I heard, it got put on hold, or Jamie Foxx had dropped out or something like that.
So patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie if you want access to that next week. And as we mentioned, on the $2 level, you can get submitted to the lottery to pick an episode, and the winner of the previous lottery pick is going to be next week. So look out for that. Sorry, it's going to be in 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's coming out in 2 weeks. And if you want to email us, we're at no such thing as a bad movie @gmail.com. We're on Twitter at no such thing pod, and my Twitter is at April @Mansky. I'm also on Instagram and Letterboxd. Check it out.
You can follow me at DeClueJ on Twitter, DECLOUX the letter J. I'm also on Letterboxd, just Justin DeClue. And every week I do the Important Cinema Club podcast and the Bay Street Video podcast for all your movie needs.
It's hard to follow that.
Yeah.
My name's Colin. I'm
Sergeant
on
Zima.
Twitter.
You got to make it extreme.
Extreme. I have some Mountain Dew.
Suckers!
I'm on Twitter. It's Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA. And for our American friends, that is ZIMA.
And that's it for this week. Stay safe, stay happy, keep watching movies. I'm April Mansky.
I'm Justin DeClue. Breaking news. The Tetris movie locked down Taron Egerton in the lead.
Oh my God.
He's playing one of the blocks.
Taron Egerton.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. Tetris, well, that's Russian. They should get Timur Bekmambetov.
He's probably directing it, and they're shooting in the vertical format.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh, say your name, Colin.
Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.
Especially Tetris.
Yeah.
Tetris!
Fatality.
Fatality.